What's going on, guys? It's your boy Yeet here. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm coming at you with a deck that I haven't really dug up in a really long time. I don't even think I've ever deck profiled this deck on here before, but I was playing it for a while. It was for fun. Surprisingly, I still had all the cards for it, and I didn't even rediscover I had the deck until I went looking in my collection of cards for a card for my friend. He was looking for the Kairushin, the original Kairushin, the normal one, the level 5 Sea Serpent, based off of the new UMI stuff. And I found this laying in my UMI deck. Yeah, not in my UMI deck, in my UMI area, like all of my water support from all the old eras. And I came across this, and I was like, so that's what happened to my engine. It was stuck in the UMI area. I couldn't believe it, and then I was like, I started rereading the cards again. I was like, why am I not playing this meta? So I was just like, heck with it. I wanted to go have fun today, so I went to my regular locals that unmatched and put this deck together, thinking, okay, this should do something fun. 3-1 to that tournament. It was just regular locals, and then right at the end of that tournament, it was like close to what, maybe 3:30ish, and then I went over with Nate, Blaker, and Curtis to a store I never even been to before. I'll be honest, I was even just zoned out that day, but I was just having too much fun. I didn't even care what tournament it was. Went into it, completely new store, 3-1 to that tournament as well. I was just like, okay, so apparently this deck does something. The only place that actually gave me, I lost to was to Sword Soul. But then again, that other place, there was only like really two competitive players back there. And while I did face both of them, the other one practically was just one of them was like a so-called judge, and he was an absolute dickhead. So I don't even want to acknowledge him at all, even though he's going to be referred to as the dickhead, and that is all he's going to be referred to as. Now, what I did and played, well, obviously you got some kind of hint. It's an old deck, and it's, well, the main idea of this deck was an old idea, okay? That deck has something to do with UMI. I will let you guys take a guess of what that is right now. All right. For those who have taken a guess on what this deck is, you're about to see if you're right. So first off, it's another 60 card invention. It is combined of the surprise old archetype. It's not Metal Foes, because it has something to do with UMI, before somebody else guesses that. Because I already know that's not good. Some people are going to think, oh, he just brought back another deck from like 2016. I think this actually is older than Metal Foes, if I'm going to be honest with you. Now, anyways, it's because the new engine, well, the new main core, well, not main core, but you know what I'm talking about. The new surprise archetype I'm bringing back. Eldritch and Brave and Hand Traps. That's all this deck is. The new surprise engine, Eldritch, Brave, and Hand Traps. That's it. That's literally what this deck is. So if you're right off the gate, you have to think, all right, so he's pretty much playing two really competitive things. So this engine must really be not competitive, or it works really well with whatever Eldritch does. But Eldritch is a zombie archetype, right? So is he just playing it for control basis? No, this is just completely like, I just wanted to play this because I thought it was going to be good. Yeah, so let's get right into it. But I do want to have a quick update on one thing here. So my singleton YahBoiYeet token just recently got upgraded to the 5 YahBoiYeet tokens. So of course we still have the Yami Yugi one, and then I liked this one from the new structure deck Albaz, the Ecclesia one. Then out of the OP18 I got this token. It's called an Agadobik token. I really think it was kind of cool. I got a slime token from the new OP19. And my probably the most weirdest tokens, but I'm really starting to like the mask token. And they're all in different colored sleeves too, so anytime I just need a token, I just pick one of these random ones and I give an offer of them to my opponent. But shout outs to my YouTube channel for every single last one of them. Alright. Now, enough showing off my fun little collection of tokens. But onto the actual deck. The extra deck, I literally will say this right now. I maybe made one, let me just get the right exact number out of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really only made 5 monsters out of this extra deck the entire tournament. Because the extra deck was practically non-existent. I never needed it to win games. So that should probably also give you another hint. But if I had to pick one ace monster out of this extra deck that I made, it would be Zeus, and I only made Zeus literally one time the entire time. Every other time, I made, the Link monsters that were in here. So there's some other things. And no, first off, this does not have Halka Firebrash. This does not have Dagda. It does not play that Toxic Engine. Even though that is very competitive, and I am one of those people who also do it, this deck did not do that. This is the deck. It is Phantasm Spiral. This deck or archetype originated in Maximum Crisis. Yeah. It's a normal deck. It literally is a bunch of normalium monsters. Just pure vanillas, no effects. So already off the gate is how did this man win with this? The Brave and Eldritch must have carried it. It somewhat did and somewhat didn't. The Brave engine actually allowed me to get this engine set up and actually allowed protection for this archetype. So let's just get right into it. I'll go through this deck, and then you guys probably will see how this works, and to be honest, don't ask me how I ended up winning this. How I did well, at least in this tournament. I mean, the first one was obviously my regular local, so that one was competitive. The second one wasn't as competitive. Like I said, there were only 2 really competitive people there. But the fact I still managed to do really well with this surprised me, so I figured I'd just showcase it to you. Whether you believe it or not, that's completely up to you. I'm just here to showcase to you what I did and what I did with this deck. I'll go through this in archetypes. I'll start off with the Phantasm engine. So obviously we're playing triple copies of the main card of this entire archetype, and that is the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. Now, this is the main monster that this whole engine is revolved around. The text kind of explains it. A ferocious serpent that was being hunted by the Atlanteans, battle-weary and ragged, it came across an ancient light and gained new strength for its battle. With its increased power, it launched an invasion of enemy territory with a renewed assault. So, East Sky was hunted by the Atlanteans. In my mind, this card was the Spiral Serpent, and then again, it became the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. But, getting to the point, this worm is crazy. It's a level 8 level 8 worm, 29 attack, 29 defense, and I played 3 of it. And I managed to pull out 2 of them majority of the time. The third one, I had it in there just in case, I got rid of the other one or had to use it as a cost for something. Would I cut the third? No, I probably only sided out. Only reason I really played 2 was just in case I needed to get to it, or I had my way of special summoning back out to the field. That's real, or just because the third one came up and they got rid of the second one. That's really the only reason it was in there. I really only made 2. Yeah, but this is the main monster, and you'll see how this guy really ties in. Even though it's not a Phantasm Spiral monster, card, I can consider this next card a part of it. I'm gonna move the cards over here. It's this monster. It's this is really the only other normal monster that's in the deck. And that's 3 copies of Mystery Shell Dragon. Mystery Shell Dragon is just a generic level 4 normal, but what it really I wanted it in here for is because it's 2000 attack and it's also worm attribute. That actually comes up pretty much because if you can't get access into the Phantasm Spiral Dragon through one of the equip spell cards that it's revolved around, you have to use the Heavenly Dragon Circle to get it out. Since the field spell that we'll talk about next generates you a worm token, and then Heavenly Dragon Circle can be used to tribute that token to special summon the dragon, get some equip spells, and get that thing rolling. So yeah, that's really what this is in here for. Plus, it also it's really good for generic level 4 normal. Now onto that field spell I was just literally talking about. That field spell is Pacifist, the Phantasm City. This card is kind of ridiculous, and this is the card that actually let me do the cracked plays or let me control the board with it. So, for those who don't know what Pacifist does, it kind of, at first read, it's like a brick. It kind of hurts anything you would try to mix this with. So let me just peep this effect for you. This card's name is always treated as UMI. So right off the bat, that's why this was in here with all my UMI stuff. This card is UMI. So some people could try to use this to make like a new crazy deck with the UMI support that you got from the Mako set. But what it says is you cannot normal or special summon effect monsters the turn you activate either of this card's effects, even if this card leaves the field. Once per turn, if you normal or special summon exactly one normal monster and no other cards, add one Phantasm Spiral card from your deck to your hand. If your opponent activates a card or effect except during the damage step and you control no tokens, special summon one Phantasm Spiral token, worm type, water, level 8, attack, 2000 attack, 2000 defense. This last effect is not once per turn because there's a period here. The deck to the hand bar. This last part is multiple times. So anytime that they just get rid of the one token and then activate another effect, pacifist summon again the token. It's just crazy. And what you search with the spell and trap Phantasm Spiral card is what actually gave me there. Now, yes, the one Eldritch itself, like the actual Golden Lord, does contradict those like control plays, but it was necessary for some points. Because it does, it provided me another outlet of discarding to get rid of other problematic cards as well. So that's why he was in there. Onto the equip spell cards that I was talking about for the Phantasm Spiral Dragon. We only played one of each, and these are the only three that exist. They are Grip, Wave, and Crash. So Crash lets you do piercing damage, and they all have the effect of summoning the dragon, okay? So let's put the dragon back over here so I can show you, for example, what I'm talking about. So first off, Crash is what piercing does, lets you do piercing damage, and when the equipped monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, especially on the Phantasm Spiral Dragon, from the deck, hand, or graveyard, and equipped it with this card, then change one attack position monster your opponent controls to defense position. You don't have to do the change defense position. I figured that out the hard way because if they don't have anything, the effect just attempts to resolve and then it doesn't. But because there's a period, because then you can change, so it doesn't have to. So that's really good. So if there's no monsters and you just really want to go for a game, equipped it with equipped it onto a normal monster token. Swing, special summon the dragon, attack. You can only use the special summoning of the dragon once per turn, though. So that's kind of like the whole like restriction on this, but it's designed to go like OTK. So Wave is like destruction prevention. Equipped only to a normal monster, and the first time the equipped monster would be destroyed by battle. Each turn is not destroyed. At the end of the battle phase, if the equipped monster battled, special summon one Phantasm Spiral Dragon from your hand, deck, or graveyard, and equipped with this card. Then if they have your opponent discards one card. So yes, that's good, but if once the Dark World like stuff comes out, this card won't be as great. Actually, this card will probably feed Dark World more power. But yeah, like this, it kind of came up like I could use this to like run into a face-up defense position monster, or just like take a little bit of damage to get the dragon, force them to discard a card and do some well. It actually never once, like, the discard power of it never came up, but the battle prevention did, because, like, by the time they always, like, either had, like, an empty hand, or I knew what was in their hand, and it didn't really, like, bother me to, like, force them to discard anything. And the last one, which is probably the most one I, like, searched out of all this, like, if anything, I searched grip the most, then crash, and then wave. First, second, and third priority was, like, the first three I set. I, like, went for. Grip is the generic one, which is actually really lets me do the OTK power of this. Is so I can equip it only to a normal monster. And by the way, this also came up, and I had to get a judge, like, at least once at each store to get this explained to people. You can look it up. There's rulings. There's literally everything for this. What a normal monster is, not just the tan. It's a normal monster that has no effects. Token has no effects. Phantasm Spiral has no effects. Link, Synchro, Xyz, Fusion monsters, even if they say / whatever their form is. For example, I'll just show you one of the cards I never made in my extra deck. Scrap Archfiend. It's a Fiend Synchro that has no effect. You can actually equip the Phantasm Spiral equip cards onto these monsters because they have no effects. Look it up, read it. I'm telling you, I got a judge twice. Both of them confirmed the same thing. Now, back onto this. When the equipped monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can special one Phantasm Spiral from your hand, deck, or graveyard, yada yada yada. Then, equip this card to it, and then inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent. Clean. That's really much all these guys do, is just pull out the dragon, move over, make some more attacks, and just going for, like, the kill. It's, like, slowly sliding but deadly. Next up is, I still count this part as the Phantasm thing. It's, like, basically, like, 20 cards for the like, 18, 20 cards? I think so. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. This will be the 13th card. And that's just literally the one copy they have in the Dragon Circle. I didn't want to play more than just the one, because while this deck is, like, this card can, like, the deck does use it very well, I didn't want to play more than one, because, like, I wanted to rather see some either more hand traps or more setup cards. So I kind of wanted to see, like, a lot more, like, diversity out of that. That's why I didn't want to use the Circle, because it only really benefits from the Phantasm Spiral versions. It kind of come up where I could tribute my opponent's Sword Soul monster to do the effect, but that was about it, because it doesn't say you can't. Next up is the trap card, that one of the best cards in the entire deck. These trap cards are what really took this deck and skyrocketed. And this is Phantasm Spiral Battle. So this is one of the main cards that was letting me do some crazy stuff with. So if all cards you control are all monsters you control are normal monsters, minimum 1. Target one card your opponent controls, destroy it. If UMI is on the field, you can activate this card from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one normal monster you control. Equip that normal monster with all Phantasm Spiral equipped cards you control that can equip to it. It's not once per turn. If I have more than one of these in my hand, I can, and all I have is a token or something like that, I would have, or like say, like, just for example, you know I'm playing the Brave Engine. Have the Adventurer token here and the Griffin. I can't use this because the Griffin's on the field, but use the Griffin first to negate to back into the deck, then you go pop, pop, like, control. That's three, like almost like 3 interruptions, and it's searchable because if you get the field spell on the field, you can search it, like, easy peasy. Like, it's just really free on whatever you need to get rid of, too. It also let me play around Mystic Mind. And the last Phantasm Spiral card is just 2 copies of Power. I really don't know why it's called Power. I'd rather this card just be like Suction or something like that, because it basically just sucks all the opponent's effect out of there. It's of all monsters I control on normal, target one effect monster your opponent controls until the end of this turn. It loses 1,000 attack and defense, and it has its effects negated. It also has that same effect. If UMI is on the field, you can activate this card from your hand, and you can base this card from your graveyard, then target one normal monster you control. Equip one Phantasm Spiral equip card from your hand or graveyard to that normal monster. So even if you want to do that during the battle phase, say that you had to send one of the equipped spell cards to the graveyard to activate Eldritch, you just recycle it back to the equipped monster and everything else like that. And that's literally all that the Phantasm Spiral engine is. It's right around like 20 cards ish. Yeah, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Scratch that, it's 18 cards. But that's the Phantasm Spiral version. And that's all the parts of it I played in that for this deck. Next, all this stuff is like pretty familiar to a lot of people. So I will just breeze right through it. I played 2 Water Enchantress. 1 Griffin Rider. If I was playing Chaos Ruler, I would play like 2 Griffin. 2 Rite of Army Azir. 2 Fateful Adventure, because this deck really needed to see a token or a normal monster on the field. And what thought of a better way to get a normal monster on the field with one of the best like engines that any deck can play, which is the Brave engine or Adventure engine to most people, because it legitimately just provides you with the Dracoback, which can be equipped to the token for the Phantasm Spiral to use the Dracoback to bounce, provides you with a negate, and it's just very good. As long as I got a token with 2,000 attack, and I was pretty much set. And the cool thing is that the Fateful Adventure itself, which is why I really wanted to play 2 for this version, is what really like helped with this deck, because let's say like all the equipment spells of the Phantasm Spirals, they count for this card. So it says, once per turn, the first time monster you control equipped with an equipped spell will be destroyed by battle, it is not destroyed. So let's just say I had like Crash. I attacked and they got attacked. The Fateful Adventure protects it. So yeah, I really like the fact that that came up a couple of times as well. And this is like eight. This is like 6. Yeah, this is 8 cards for a Brave engine. It's really nice, and I like this a lot, actually. This was probably like the best like thing made this whole deck work. And I only played 8 cards, and then I somehow saw like one of these like almost every single hand, like for no reason. I saw one of these 6 like almost every hand. It was just really crazy. This deck, I will say, has one major weakness: Token Collector. Token Collector is a destruction menace for this deck. That's why I never cited a Token Collector. I just didn't want to see Token Collector in my entirety of the day. And I saw it like maybe twice. And that's like probably the only reason this deck thrived. If I saw a Token Collector, I was screwed. Well, I'll be honest. I had to banish the Token Collector, and I can't banish nothing in this deck. So this is also another reason why I play the backup plan of having having my boys in here. My Golden Concerto and High Ruler. Still missing the 3rd brother, the Secret Slayer version. The original. But yeah, he was in here because of that. But what I did do is get my upgraded from my Golden outlined Cursed Eldin into the spicy, sexy versions that are from Secret Slayer. Beautiful. Yeah, I'm just gonna breeze right through this because a lot of you like know my ratios when it comes to this deck, like this engine. It hasn't changed for a bit now. Like I showcased this engine, and I think the only difference then was like I had maybe one Hawk Hero, an extra edition of Hawk Hero, and a Guardian. Just took those out just because I wanted to be short, sized, and short, sweet, and consistent. Yeah. For this. If anything, you guys can try and take out one of the dragons to add a normal zombie in here, just in case like you already had Eldritch. You can use this special summon a normal zombie and get plays off. I don't know, it's you. But the cool thing is, all these the trap cards here, they all count as normal monsters. So maybe even you could play the 2nd Hawk Hero just and like take out a Cursed Eldin or something like that, or even an Eldritch. Sometimes people could. Just so you can have like another way of getting a normal monster, because these all trigger the effect of Phantasm Spiral, because they all say special summon as a normal monster, special summon as a normal monster, so they trigger the effect of Pacifist. So it was really cool. that's it for the arc engines. Like, this is like really all the engines. The rest of this is just like support, hand traps, spell cards, and trap cards. That's pretty much all that's left. So it's not going to take me long to explain these. I did 3 copies for these hand traps. I did 3 copies of Nibiru, 3 copies of Ash, and only 2 effect failures. I didn't want to play too many effect, like, negation cards, because then they all just contradict each other. Effect fail, like, think about it. I have effect failure, there's power. I'll just let you know, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4. There's like 7 more cards in here that can negate monster effects, so didn't really want to see too much clogging. Probably should have played like Crow or something like that, but I didn't have time to dig out my Crows. 1 Demise of the Land, just for consistent. No, I do not play Mystic Mind. Would I play Mystic Mind? Hell no. I'm not playing Mystic Mind in this version of the deck because it does revolve around like OTKing. Like, the longer this, like, the duel goes on, the less this deck has a chance of succeeding. So I just wanted to get quickly into my Phantasm Spiral as engine as possible. That's why I played Demise of the Land. And like I said, since I want to see cards quickly in this deck, and the extra deck doesn't really matter, 3 Extravagance. What else you're gonna need to do? Just get to your cards, man. Bait out hand traps, get to your cards faster. You love to see it. Also to see the field spell terraforming. In case I ran across fucking Scythe to Chalice, do not want to play droplets because I didn't really have cards I want to get to the graveyard. If I was playing Based or something like that, then probably I would have played droplets, but I wasn't doing that, so I just rather go for Chalice. Plus, you could have actually used it on yourself to make, bigger normal monster. The 1 Called by the Grave to get rid of hand traps. 2 Dark Ruler No More in the main deck just to get, clear boards in case I'm going second to help go for the OTK potential. 1 Metaverse to get and see my field spell faster. And the last card, which this deck just affords it. 3 Skill Drain. I don't know. It literally just worked with it. Everything was normal. Didn't really need to see any effects, and it put a lot of halt to a lot of the effect combo decks. Actually let me destroy base twice because they, every time I went first, I set this, then activated it, and they just couldn't do anything about it because they never were main decking any back row removal. So I at least got 1 game free out of those, and then, yeah, I decided in the rest of the stuff to make it work. That's literally the main deck. I guess we'll do the side deck next. So for the side deck, I play the 3rd copy of Dark Ruler No More. A 2nd Draco back. I like the 2nd Draco back because, like I said, all your deck is normal monsters. A free bounce is a free bounce. You don't care how you get the free bounce, you just get a free bounce. And then I played Kaijus, actually, because Kaijus, while you can tribute your opponent's monsters, they're not going to bother you when it comes to your Phantasm Spiral stuff, because it's technically, you're giving your opponent a monster. You're just summoning it to their side of the field, and so it counts as their summon. So you can Kaiju under the Phantasm Spiral thing. No judge ever was called when I did it, and I had the field spell up, and no one bothered to issue it. So if I'm wrong on this, let me know, but I would still keep the Kaijus in here because it's just really helpful. Dark Rulering or Scale Drain, and then playing Kaiju Slumber or tributing over a problematic monster was just super good. And why you're playing these specific ones is because the Wind one, in case you're playing against Flunderees and you have to get rid of the statue, yeah, sure, that's maybe a small chance, but I'd rather have that chance than not having that. And then this one, because a lot of the UMI decks nowadays are playing the new barrier stature water, and the Gamma Seal also come up. So I also just picked them up at the same time because I wanted to see if this card would be good if I put Kaijus in the Ethereons, because it's Aqua type, and I just didn't want to search for any of the other ones because I didn't think any of the others would be coming up as handy, so I just went with it. Back row removal: Harpy's Feather Duster, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, no more, no less. And then 2D Barrier, 2 Solemn Judgment. That's all I did for the side deck for this extra deck. Like I said, useless. I'll tell you what's like. I'll pull out what's needed. This made once. Didn't make this, but I still consider this needed. Same thing with this one. Like, I would consider these needed, but like I said, I only made Zeus once, and the Xyz monster I had made into to make Zeus was actually Gem Knight Pearl. Again, you can make this, and all I did was take 2 Mystery Shell Dragons. Don't even ask how I got 2 Mystery Shell Dragons. Literally, it just took so long to just draw it. I wish that game did not go as long as I did. If we're not locked into effect monsters and you could summon something, like Dungarez the Timeless and Baguska probably could come up. Like, sure, they're in there. Did not make, like, I didn't make anything in this extra deck except for, like, Zeus, Pearl, and the next monsters. Berserker of Tenyi, I made him twice. Guy of the Saber Lightning Shadow, I actually made 3 times. I don't know how it just keeps coming up, but Guy of the Saber Lightning Shadow keeps coming up as another big boy finisher with for this deck. It just really does. And that's why I played 2 of it, because I could only find, like, 2. Lancia Pathericus, if I only could make 2 to get another monster on the field. Indunk, I actually made him in the tournament. Like, all these Link monsters I made, Imduk actually came up when I wasn't under Pacifist to get rid of my token to crash over a monster by a card effect. So it was really nice. Did not make this next card at all, Proxy Dragon. It was just in there. I don't know why, because I just didn't know what else to put in. Same thing for Hip Hoshigan for the Eldritch. Link Spider, it was a good thought. Didn't make it. And Scrap Archfiend, I didn't play a tuner. Well, I did play a tuner, but I never made it because I never normal summoned Ash. So, yeah. That's it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoyed this deck. Like I said, I'm speechless when it comes to this deck because this deck was not supposed to be competitive whatsoever. It had some competitive aspects to it, but its goal was just to have fun. And somehow I did insanely well with it, so I guess the power of fun makes almost any deck competitive. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys for tuning into the deck profile. If you guys enjoyed, leave a like and subscribe. Comment what you think about the deck. And let me know what you guys want me to tackle next. If you want me to bring back a certain old archetype and mix it together with competitive again, let me know, because I will gladly do that, because I'm enjoying these challenges. Like I said, I did really well with Metaphors, and I just did well with Phantasm Spirals, even though they weren't like as a major competitive thing like the Metaphors were. Just apparently I have a really good time with old and new. So, yeah. This is your boy signing out. Have a good 4th of July, everybody. Peace.